Welcome back to the podcast, Yogi. I am super excited to dive into this today because, let me guess, have you been revamping your Instagram bio? Dun, dun, dun. Have you been jumping into that Instagram bio and changing it up every week, every other day, every month? And it's like, this is who I am now, stake in the ground. Oh, wait, this is who I am, right? So especially when we really get into self-development, self-transformation. For example, maybe you get really big into astrology and one week you're like, you know what? I am going to blend yoga and astrology and that's my stake in the ground. I'm going to do it. And all of a sudden the next week you get into human design and you're like, oh my goodness, human design is rocking my world. And you're like, I'm going to blend human design with yoga. Insert whatever's happening, right? Maybe you go on this big wellness kick and you're like, all right, this is my stake in the ground now. So there's nothing wrong with this. It's sort of, the beginning phases of business. We're trying things out. We're, seeing where we fit. I like to call this gaps in the marketplace, right? Where it's like, ooh, I want to blend my passion with this or that. And then, pull yoga and movement in. So there's nothing wrong with this. It's when you're ready to really put the jetpack on in business is when we get super focused on your niche. And a big part of this is having that bold title in your I help statement. So this could be something on this could be your Instagram bio, this could be your Facebook bio, your TikTok bio, your YouTube, like wherever you're at, right? Online. So this will translate and speak directly to your ideal client. And if I could give you one thing, and it's sort of like this permission of, I know how badly you feel connected to your business, right? And it really feels like it's part of you, like it's a limb, It came from you, it's birthed from you, like it's this whole experience of like, this is my baby, right? Well, I want to give this little nugget of wisdom to you. It really hit me once I had my actual baby, how much I had been treating my business like it was my baby. And the two are completely different, right? And so whether you have kids or not, if you can just zoom out from this conversation for a moment, that, your business is your business, right? It has to go from infancy to, adolescence to adulthood, and it has to mature, and you've got to let it go. You've got to let it walk and run and play and do all of its things and explore. And so like calling your business your baby and really like making it feel like it's this extension of you can really become an emotional train wreck, right? So permission to really start to look at your business as a business. And I want to give you this nugget of like, let it be a business, right? Take time for yourself. Like literally when you close it out for the end of the day, you're shutting down your business. You're not shutting down your baby, right? So we can get so emotional. Businesses can be so emotional. But once we niche down and we start being of service for other people, specifically your ideal client, you no longer have to feel like it's this big energy drain, right? Because if you're always showing up to social media about how you feel and how your day is going and the newest thing that you're learning and it's all about you, well, when someone says, I don't like what you're doing, it's like, ooh, a stab to the heart, right? Or like a stab to the back. It hurts. And so when we're of service and we're like, here's something for you, here's something that'll help you, here is a nugget of wisdom for you, right? Then we start disconnecting this energy of it feeling like such a gut punch. So what I want to walk you through today is really exciting because this was actually a DM that came in on my Instagram page, and I felt like I wanted to help this specific yogi, but I felt like the message was so big that I wanted to help spread it on the podcast, and I also wanted to make a free training on Instagram in regards to this too. So here's the DM that came in, and again, we're going to be looking at your I help statement. So if you have a pen and paper handy, this is really, truly going to help you today. And the amount of messages that I've been getting back from just this mini training of like, thank you so much for talking about this niche and going super specific, because now that got my wheels turning of areas where I wasn't being clear, and I want to have more confidence behind my brand. I want to know more specific my mission. I really want to lock it in. So I just want to first say thank you to everyone that slid into my DMs that was like, holy moly, thank you so much for that training. And now I want to bring it to you just in case you didn't see it. So here is the message that came in to my DMs. And she says this: "Hey Shauna, I love your Instagram page. So much value and free content. You are the first place I go every single morning." Thank you, thank you. I am so grateful for all of it. I do have a quick question for you. Hopefully you can answer this. Is this niche enough? So she's a yoga teacher, and she says, "My niche is I help women reconnect with their body through yoga." Is this, she says, "This is definitely searchable, but I feel like it's a bit too broad. What do you think?" So I want to ask you, and if you have that pen and paper handy, I want you to write her I help statement at the top of your page so that we can dissect this together and you can look at this visually for yourself too. So again, her I help statement is I help women reconnect with their body through yoga. So sit with this for a moment. Do you think that this is niche enough? I help women reconnect with their body through yoga. So I put a poll out asking the same question. I said, hey guys, gut feeling, do you feel like this is niche enough? Over 60% of the people that answered the poll said it is. And actually, the truth, it's not. This is not niche enough. So we're going to walk through how to make this more specific and more desirable for her ideal client. Now, I don't know her whole background, right? I don't know exactly, the way that she's going to help women reconnect with their body through yoga. But we're going to talk about how this could potentially look through a couple different examples, okay? So let's make this profitable, because right now it's not a profitable niche. This isn't something that if you saw it on Instagram, it's not enough for people to stick around and say, oh my gosh, you have that thing that I want. You have something that I'm trying to find resolution on, right? So if you got that pen and paper handy, I want you to circle the front of the sentence that says, I help women, okay? So this beginning piece of her I help statement, this isn't clear enough. And you might be like, why? Why? She's helping women, right? Well, women happen to make up over 50% of the world's population. And this isn't specific enough. So what I would go back to this yoga teacher, I would say, all right, I know you want to help women. Women make up over 50% of the planet. And we obviously don't want to be speaking to 50% of the planet. We want to be speaking to who your ideal client is. So I want you to go deeper into this. Start digging. I want you to think about the demographics, like the specific demographic of the ideal client, the woman that you want to work with. What is her age? What is her career? What is her marital status? Where does she live? I want you to get really specific on the demographics of who this ideal client is. Now, this happens a lot. When I say, what is the age of your ideal client? Most yogis will say, well, anywhere between like 25 and 50. Well, this is a huge, huge span. And the reason why I say this is, do you believe that there's a difference between a 25-year-old and a 50-year-old in what they want out of a yoga class or what they want out of an online program? Yes, right? Think of yourself at 25. Now think of yourself at 35. Just in that decade, so much in your life has changed, most likely, right? So I look back at 25 and I was like party animal, overly caffeinated, overweight, right? Just like not really, life wasn't what it was right now. I was trying to figure out the whole 9-to-5 thing and what a mess. Now I'm 35. I have a baby at home. I have a business. Things are calm. I have morning rituals. Like it's a totally different world. And so when we think about our ideal client, we want to get into their world. We want to get into, what is their specific age? What are her demographics? And, what type of career is she in? Is she a 9-to-5 worker? What type of, is she or is she a young millennial, right? The list goes on. And the thing is if you are stuck right here and you're like, well, I could work with, women in their 30s, new mothers, something like that. Or, I really love my clients that are in their 50s and I really, enjoy working with them too. Well, here's the thing. Let's say you are at a crossroads and you're kind of feeling this split energy between who you could work with. There is naturally going to be a pull to one or the other. And you'll know this. It'll feel like an open portal. It'll just feel like it calls to you a little bit more than the other one, okay? And another thing here is if you're struggling with like, who is my ideal client? I want you just to think about yourself 5 years ago. So much can happen in half of a decade. And if you really look back at the first moments or the first couple weeks of you going into your yoga teacher training, who was the woman who walked through the door of your yoga teacher training and who was the woman that left your yoga teacher training? Like, you've transformed in so many ways. So get specific, think demographics, right, of who your one ideal client is. Again, this is all about clarity, right? When we try to be clever, like, oh, I'm open to anybody and everybody that wants to work with me. Well, that doesn't tell anyone to work with you. You want to tell the one specific person, like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is the type of results that we get together. And then you get to multiply her over and over and over again. And the beautiful thing is now you create this community that are like-minded. And now your community literally gets to meet new friends and they're just like, where have you been all my life? I can't believe we're together in this community or this program that you create together. And all of a sudden you're watching these beautiful friendships blossom. I can't tell you how many friendships that have been made inside the YBA, or meetups of women that have literally flown from New York to California to meet up with each other because they did the YBA program. And they launched their businesses together and they're like, you are my best friend that I never knew existed. So now you're onto something good when that happens inside your community. You've led them there, they come together, and these beautiful bonds can happen. So the second part of this is, I want you to circle this part, is reconnect with their body, okay? Now, if you and I were walking down the sidewalk today and we walked up to someone and said, hey, could you tell me what it means to reconnect to your body? And the person might say, a meditation practice. That's what reconnecting to your body means. Okay, thank you. And then we go on to the next person. We're like, hey, could you tell me what reconnect to your body means? Like maybe what they eat, like eating healthy. Okay, thank you. So what you get here is that reconnect with your body is not clear enough. Right? Because everyone has a different interpretation of what reconnecting to your body really means. Now, when you're putting together your I help statement, you're like, well, I know what reconnecting to my body means. That's where you need to pull out what it meant for you to reconnect to your body, okay? Was it through mindset? Was it wellness? Was it fitness? Obviously you're saying here that it's through yoga, but specifically what, right? What was the door of yoga into your life? Because every yogi has one. It's like, I like to call it like, just like the beginning drug, right? Of like, you get in through the door of yoga and then all of a sudden everything else changes in your world. It's not just yoga. So, but we need to get specific for this ideal client. So I gave some examples here. Does your ideal client say out loud to her friends, I wish I could connect with my body? And oftentimes, no. Doesn't it sound kind of weird when we say it out loud? Like, hey, Susie, I'm just having a really hard time connecting to my body. The thing is, she's most likely not saying that. That's where clever marketing language comes in. And again, we don't want to be clever. We want to be clear. So she's most likely saying things like this to a friend. I just want to lose weight. I want to feel less anxious. I want to become more flexible. I want more energy as a new mom, right? So she's saying things like that. And whenever you get stuck on your I help statement, I want you to think and say it out loud. Like literally, if you're in front of your laptop, your phone, and you're working out your I help statement, say it out loud. Does it sound right coming out of your mouth? Is it something you would actually say to a friend? Like, I'm really struggling with XYZ. right? So again, some ideas here. I just want to riff on them if you're writing these down, just to give you some ideas. Instead of saying reconnect with your body, she's actually saying things like, I want to lose weight. I want to feel less anxious. I want to become more flexible. I want more energy as a new mom, etc. So speak their language. This is what's going to actually pull them in on social media. So let's try this on for size. You have 2 Instagrams that you run across right now. Just envision this in your mind's eye. Instagram number 1 is, and you read the bio, I help women reconnect with their body through yoga. So just visualize what her potential Instagram feed could look like. What comes to mind for me is just like a lot of yoga poses, It's like, okay, I see that, she does yoga. She's a yoga teacher. All right, got it. Now, this other Instagram page, let's say that the bio reads something like this. I help new moms find more energy and feel less anxious. Now, imagine what the posts are going to be about on that page, right? New moms find more energy and feel less anxious. Now, I'm sure that there are some poses, right? I'm sure there's some yoga poses here, but I bet you that the content of like the scroll through information that is on that Instagram page has a lot to do about being a new mom, trying to find new energy, maybe a coffee swap of something that's going to, keep her energy, alive throughout the day. Maybe she's doing matcha instead of coffee. Shout out to the mothers drinking matcha. And then ways to feel less anxious. There's probably tips and books and ideas and suggestions on here about feeling less anxious. So now, if that was your niche and you were a yoga teacher and your ideal client was new moms, to help them find more energy and feel less anxious because, hey, maybe you've been there before as a new mom and you've got some things to share. Now you are naturally attracting new mothers to your page. And this is something that happens like lightning speed. And the more that you're putting out content for that one specific person, this new mom that is helping her, imagine what it's like for her. She's opening up her phone. She's like, got bags under her eyes, super tired, been up all night with her newborn. She's exhausted and she's reaching for that cup of coffee, but she runs across your post that talks about all of the benefits of matcha. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to make a switch today and I'm going to try matcha. And all of a sudden, she's got her cup of matcha going. And she has this all-day energy and avoids that 3 o'clock coffee crash. So now you've just helped her and you don't even know that you've helped her. And then she's like, wow, that really helped me. And she's tuning back into your content and you're giving her some, like a quick little 5-minute, before bed yoga restorative something that she could do in her bed, right? Like some stretches that she could do. And so now you become influential in her world, somewhere that she wants to tune in. Now this mother is multiplied 5, 10, 15, 20 times. And then all of a sudden you have a program that launches that is all about working one-on-one with her and helping her feel less anxious and have more energy. This is the win-win that I'm talking about. So see how everything starts to snowball. You start with your I help statement. Your content around social media is dedicated to this ideal client. And all of a sudden you become influential in her world and she's like, oh my gosh, I want to work with you. You get on a phone call, a discovery call, and you're like, all right, this is what this program's all about. These are the milestones you're going to go through. Boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden you have a 6-figure business. So that's one example. Now, I want to bring you through a couple other ones for you to sort of think about and, resonate with and just really feel like who is your ideal client and how do you help them? So another example, again, this is just off the cuff, me thinking about ideas, this is a profitable niche. I help busy female let's start over. I help busy female millennials lose weight without high intensity workouts. So imagine if that was you in the past, busy female millennial, and you're wanting to lose weight, but you don't want to do these high intensity workouts. Now imagine all of the tools that you have with yoga, and imagine how you could help a busy millennial lose weight without doing high intensity workouts. Another example here is I help female nurses feel less stressed in 4 weeks. Now that is a claim your stake in the ground, right? So imagine if you have a 4-week program, your ideal client is female nurses, and what's the thing that's really stressing them out, like literal stress, is their stress that they're experiencing through the workday. Now, if you're going to claim something like this, you've got to have been a nurse before, right? You need to know that world. And this is where you 5 years ago comes into play. You could still be a nurse right now, and maybe you are a yoga teacher and a nurse, and you have all these tools in your tool chest to share with fellow nurses. And maybe you don't want to like market yourself where you work, and you want to do this online, and then all of a sudden you've got some cool passive income coming in, and then maybe enough to quit that job and go full-time online and actually do the things you want to do, if that's what you want to do, right? So things to like jot down for yourself here is I want you to think about one specific person. Call them out in your I help statement. Make it super clear for them to tune in, like, hey, that's me, right? Like, that is me. And then also there needs to be a clear outcome. Why should they follow you? What are you going to be talking about on social media? What tips and free trainings and little nuggets of wisdom are you actually giving to them? There needs to be a clear outcome and a clear result for them to continue to follow you. Okay? So was that helpful? When discovering your niche, there's a couple things that come up right at this point that you might be thinking about. And if you're not thinking about it right now, I guarantee you're going to. And it's this. But Shauna, I'm scared to niche down. Now, have you felt this way before where you're like, I don't want to niche down because what if like the most unicorn amazing client comes into my world that is not my niche? Well, congratulations. That's amazing. Do you want to work with them? And you can absolutely work with whoever you want to work with. But the purpose of social media and having a niche is that you are clear, that you become influential in someone else's life, that you're actually moving in one solid direction. You know, a visualization that always comes in for me is like, imagine a gopher in the backyard, like literally a gopher digging holes in your backyard, and they are like trying to find the seed in the backyard, and they're just like dig over here, dig over there, dig over here, dig over there, dig, 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 and they're just spending all this energy. And then there's another gopher that just continues to dig straight down, like dig, 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 dig. And I'm sure you've even seen this image online of the guy that like hits the diamonds because he continued to dig the hole straight while the other guy just kept jumping all over the place. So that's a lot like business online. We can get inspired by the things that we're currently doing and decide to go dig over there. And then you pick up another book and then you dig over there, right? And oftentimes in the yoga world, this looks like, oh, someone's talking about building an email funnel. I'm going to go try that. Oh, well, this person says build a membership site. I'm going to go try that. And I just want to make this so much easier for you because I struggled with this in the beginning of my business too, is just to go in on one solid signature program. And from your signature program, you can create your I help statement, getting clear on who that ideal client is and the specific result that you give by working together. And by having this on social media, your content stream, your stream of consciousness of ideas that come in when it's not all about you every day, right? You can talk about yourself on your Instagram stories. You can give behind the scenes. It all adds up to people just really falling in love with who you are as a person. But your posts on your grid should all, and your Facebook and all of that should literally be about your ideal client. Tips and suggestions and trainings and offers of, ways for them to get unstuck of where they are. And again, this is just you in the past. So what would you tell yourself? So I hope that this was incredibly helpful for you. And I just thank you for, when you guys do slide into my DMs and ask questions, because this gets me so excited to come in and make a podcast episode on perfecting your I help statement so that you can become profitable, because we live in this amazing time where literally you can work from your cell phone or your laptop and make money and travel, and you aren't confined to any boss or any environment that you don't want to be in. You can literally turn your world into your vision board. And that's why I'm here to share how to do this in a way that makes it so much easier for you so you can take the pressure off yourself and actually become profitable. So If you found this helpful, please share this podcast with another yogi that might be going through this right now. Maybe you stumbled across this, or someone maybe even tagged you in this podcast episode. And I would love for you to share this with another yogi that you know to help them gain more clarity and more focus in their online business as well. As always, thank you for being here. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next podcast episode. Mwah!